the Munich Security Conference, is set to be a stage for a significant confrontation, as U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance prepares to face a chorus of demands for enhanced consultation and coordinated action from European leaders and Ukrainian President Zelenskyy. This anticipated showdown follows a tumultuous 48-hour period marked by a cascade of contradictory statements emanating from senior members of the Trump administration, including President Trump himself, regarding the approach to negotiations with Russia concerning Ukraine's future. The discordance within the U.S. administration's messaging reached a fever pitch, creating uncertainty and raising concerns among allies. The inconsistencies began with a series of pronouncements regarding the possibility of Ukrainian NATO membership and the conditions under which negotiations with Russia might commence. These conflicting signals, some suggesting a willingness to compromise on key Ukrainian interests, contrasted sharply with previous U.S. pronouncements of unwavering support for Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. This lack of clear and consistent communication has left European partners deeply unsettled. Vice President Vance, in an attempt to mitigate the damage and quell the mounting criticism, engaged in damage control, giving an interview to the Wall Street Journal. He aimed to counter the perception that President Trump's Wednesday phone call with Vladimir Putin had resulted in a series of premature and unilateral concessions to the Russian leader. However, the damage had already. The perception of inconsistency and a lack of a cohesive U.S. strategy had taken hold. The controversy reached its apex with President Trump's unequivocal assertion that Ukraine's NATO membership is an impossibility, a view he attributed to Putin's intransigence and Ukraine's purported acceptance of this reality. "I think that's how it will have to be," Trump stated, effectively dismissing years of Ukrainian aspirations and defying the established policy of supporting Ukraine's right to choose its own alliances. His vision extended to a future where Russia is reintegrated into the G7 group of leading industrialized nations, a prospect that has been met with significant skepticism and opposition from numerous European leaders. This statement further fueled the perception of a significant shift in the U.S. approach towards Russia and Ukraine, highlighting a concerning lack of consultation with its European allies. Further exacerbating the situation, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, in Warsaw for a meeting with his Polish counterpart, attempted to downplay the significance of any concessions, insisting that the U.S. was not acting prematurely. However, his reassurances were largely overshadowed by the already established narrative of disarray within the administration's foreign policy approach. The perceived lack of strategic coherence created an atmosphere of apprehension and mistrust among allies. French President Emmanuel Macron, among many others, joined the growing chorus of international leaders publicly demanding that the U.S. adopt a far more measured and coordinated approach to the Ukraine conflict. Macron underscored the grave implications of a peace agreement that could be interpreted as a capitulation to Russian demands. "A peace that is a capitulation is bad news for everyone," Macron declared, highlighting the broader geopolitical ramifications of a perceived U.S. softening of its stance on Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. The situation underscores the urgent need for a unified and consistent approach from the U.S. administration and the significant challenges faced in navigating this complex geopolitical landscape amid internal divisions and conflicting policy signals. The upcoming meetings in Munich will be crucial in attempting to bridge the growing divide and restore confidence among U.S. allies. The lack of a unified front is likely to embolden Russia and undermine the collective efforts aimed at achieving a just and lasting peace in Ukraine. The weight of international expectation rests heavily on the shoulders of the U.S. Vice President as he faces the collective concerns of European leaders. The success or failure of these discussions will have far-reaching consequences for the future stability of Europe and the global order.